Check 1 2. All right, what's good? What's good? What's good? In the hood. We're live. We're gonna talk about this Carlee Russell confession. How's everything good? How's everything doing? How you guys doing out there? What's good? Y'all know what it is. Carlee Russell via her lawyer just confessed that it was all a lie. We're gonna check out the video here real quick. And then we're gonna check out some people on Twitter, see what they're talking about on it. We might touch on some of the Jess Hilarious as well. All right. Y'all know what it is. This is Thoughts of the Week podcast. Let's get it. You're rocking with the best. Thoughts of the Week podcast. All right, thanks for checking in. Yes, indeed, we live. I see y'all watching. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at this video real quick. It might be about 15 minutes or so, but we're gonna take a look at it. And y'all got some comments, man. Y'all get it in, all right? So let's check it out real quick. Carlee Russell confession via her lawyer. All right, so let's take a look.
Give me a mic check.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2.
In a couple minutes. He's gonna do it in a couple. He's gonna give us a 2-minute warning. Yeah.
All right, you stand by.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check. It's better if I hold it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just hold it.
Hey, y'all want a mic check from Cody?
Hey, after this is over.
All right, you guys stand by for a second. Thanks for the thumbs up, by the way. Who's commenting? What's up, Troy? All right, yeah, I'll give you a call, man. I'll give you a call, my brother. Let me try to pull up this video real quick. Oh, my bad, man. All right, you guys stand by for a second. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to let you guys listen to what's going on the Twitter spaces real quick. All right. Because they have a weird delay on that news conference. So I don't know what's going on with that.
If we all black Americans, we all know that this shit that our grandparents and even our parents will rock with, as far as like they more like live and let live, but it's certain shit they're not finna let happen in their house. Y'all know that. I know it. We know that. That doesn't mean they hate everybody. That doesn't mean they got issues with other people. They just like let them do that over there. This is what we do over here. And the issue is, and you're right, black people do tend to be conservative socially and definitely economically. The issue is, and I say this again all the time, the people who are speaking for y'all, and us, I'm black too, but the people who are speaking for black people are not connected to the majority of black people. They're connected to Washington. They're connected to the political process. And the political process tells the black gatekeepers that you got to corral them Negroes and let them go along with whatever white liberals are saying. And that's how you keep your job. That's how come a lot of these conversations we even having in the black community. The majority of black people, Rick, you know this, the majority of this shit, even that we be talking about on these spaces, the average motherfucker don't give a fuck about that shit, man. It's 6 o'clock. The average motherfucker going to the bar and a drink, or they finna get off work and go home and get in their fucking shower and get in the damn bed.
Why you ask Rick? Why you ain't ask me? Rick is not smart. He just a bald man with a beard and salt.
Parents, relax. I got you tonight. I'm gonna have you turn up tonight, so chill. I got you. I'm just saying.
Him to get on the full podcast, he hated me out. He said no.
That's all I'm saying. It's like the people who are speaking for black people, they connected to black people, so that's why a lot of this fuckery keeps going on. And I keep telling motherfuckers, until you start getting in those spaces, and until black people who got some influence who be like in academia and in the news media, like the ones that be talking to parents on the quiet and the ones that be in my DMs, until they find their nuts and start grabbing the mic, this shit gonna keep going.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So,
Hey, God is good all the time. It's just like
So right now we live on Twitter. All right, so y'all listening in on Twitter. Their title is Carlee Russell done set us back, but they was talking about it a little while ago. Let's listen in, see what they're talking about.
You're not gonna get anti-black, are you?
no, I'm not getting anti-black. I'm never anti-black, sweetheart. Never that. I'm just saying we as a people.
It's okay, Mr. Purple Bow Tie.
Okay.
you in the nation, brother? I see that bow tie.
That's just a picture that I really like or whatever. I'm not anti-black or anything else.
That's Pee Wee.
Yeah, Pee Wee Herman. But what I had to say is, it's just like a young brother that I'm supporting.
Give me a final call, brother.
What I was going to say is, there's a young brother that's in Albany, Georgia, and he started his own school. Do you not know the city of Albany, Georgia stopped this man, or tried to stop this man, purchasing his own school? He did what Dr. Umar Johnson tried to do with.
All right, I'm gonna put this live on real quick. Well, not live now. I watched the actual live press conference, and there was a confession by Carlee Russell, but it was through her lawyer. It wasn't her confessing herself. It was through her lawyer. All right. So let's we're gonna tap in on that real quick. So let's see what they're talking about.
Mr. Anthony asked that I read the statement in its entirety, which I will do now. My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies, as well as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers.
All right, y'all heard it loud and clear. She confessed it all. It never happened. And of course, they gave during the press conference, they was asking various questions. One of them being if they know what her main motive was for doing it. Another one was asking about if she had mental illness issues. There was talk only about potentially pressing charges. So there was also talk on the on Black Twitter in regards to they mentioned Carolyn Bryant lied about Emmett Till, right? So, and they were saying, some people were also saying, well, this might be the first person that goes to jail for lying. And some people saying she won't go to jail because it's be her first offense, right? So it's a lot of different conversations going on in regards to this. Also, there's been talk about, for those who was caping for her, they saying they everybody who's been talking about and talking in regards in her favor, that's put that to rest. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people saying that, right? Well, there was mention about her the false reporting, but then there was something in regards to one of the investigators. There was some type of technical issue regarding investigating her first with the initial statement, but then later on they have to get the official statement. Some technicality, some weird thing going on with that. So yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying, man. They've been talking about that and saying a lot of different things. Will she go to jail? Won't she go to jail? They'll make an example of her. What is this doing towards for Black women if they start reporting being attempted kidnappings or some incident where they get kidnapped and later they escape? A lot of crazy stuff going on, right? A lot of stuff going on. Let me see what they're talking about real quick here. So yeah, man, it's crazy. Let me just play that one more time for you guys.
I read the statement in its entirety, which I will do now. My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies as well, as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers.
All right.
Mr. Anthony asked that
So yeah, good point. Treat her the same way they treat white women who lie on Black men and falsely accuse them of rape. They get no time in the past. Exactly. It's just like I said, with the Carolyn Bryant thing. She lied confessed that she lied about Emmett Till. Nothing happened to her, right? Nothing happened to her at all. Let's see here. Facts.
Now,
Hey, Paris, I'm being nosy. Who's the celebrity that inboxed?
I'm trying to listen in on some of the Twitter spaces as well and seeing what they're talking about. they were going in pretty hard earlier. They kind of deviated and went off to another subject. They started talking about Ice Cube and so with that being said, I'm gonna pull up some something from Jess Hilarious. I'm sure y'all know about that. They was going in pretty hard the last few days on Jess Hilarious. Appreciate y'all. I see y'all a few people, more people coming in. I'll play the video back again for those who might not have heard it in a little bit. Let me see something real fast though. All right. And let me pull something up here. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. All right. Initially, I thought it was kind of when I first heard it, and then things started kind of unfolding. I'm kind of thinking of a bigger picture, you know, something set up for something bigger down the road. Or, you know, did they get paid? Oh, you hear about with Jess Hilarious? He said something about something in regards to some trans, what is it, trans woman, which is a man transition into a woman. Might have made some comments, and Jess Hilarious commented back. A lot of people was going in on that. Basically, you have these men turning into women, and they're starting to kind of take over actual biological women, trying to take over their rights, their points, and things like that. Let me see if I can pull it up though. Yeah, they was going crazy last night on Twitter about that. If everybody was actually face to face, the way they was talking, it would probably went to blows. As a matter of fact, I might play that as well if I can find that real quick. As a matter of fact, I'll play some highlights from that. All right. As well as pull up something from Instagram. So let me get that out of here real quick. Let me see here. Pull up some audio. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let me see if I can play a little bit of this audio.
About hate. If you didn't like what Muko was saying, then state what you didn't like what he was saying. But to state that he's teaching hate because he has a different ideology in his household than you do, that's not fair. And again, when did it become a hateful thing to teach children to acknowledge that they are biologically born a certain way? That's the part that I don't seem to understand. And this is why I question adults who actually are in the space of factual information, because you came in the space and you identified yourself as he, and him, I believe. And at the same time, you also You also made sure that we understood and respected you by your identification, because no one else would have known. And I didn't check your page, so that is fine. But don't come in and try to again influence yourself on someone else because you believe a certain way. That's not totally fair. That closes down the conversation, and it keeps us in the space of ignoring other groups of people, because you labeled yourself he, they, and then turn around and say persons who menstruate instead of saying women who menstruate.
I want to hear what Trans has to say about this as well too, and go ahead and unmute your mic. You know, because when every woman that's born in this earth, she's not born a woman, she's born a female, she's born a girl. So, what's up, Brooke? I see you over there on YouTube. To be an actual woman, you have to be a female, and to actually to me, you have to be born a female. If you're not born a female, then you're not a woman. I mean, I don't care if you have to take pills and hormones, you have to have surgery and all this other stuff. To me, you're not a woman. You have to be born a female. You have to be born an infant, a newborn. You have to go to a toddler status. You got to become a girl and everything else, a teen, become a woman. That's how you are a woman. If you miss that, then you're not a woman. There's two type of people on this earth. They're men and they're women. There are males and there's females. If you're not one or the other, there's no third, no fourth different gender or whatever. All of this stuff is just completely made up. And it's been made up over the past 10, 15 years, definitely. So you have to be an actual female to become a woman. If you're not a female, then you're not a woman. If you're not born a female, then you're not a woman, in my personal opinion. Whether you ever have birth, whether you ever give birth, whether your menstrual cycle, whatever it is or whatever, you have to be born an actual female. If you're not born a female, then you're not a woman. I had no issue with what Jess Hilarious said. I was in agreement for whatever, for what she said or whatever. You know, of course, it's going to draw some blowback. So, like I said, I welcome anybody to come up here and state how they feel or whatever. We actually have actual women up in this actual space right here. That's why Dana's one of the co-hosts. We're going to try to get Rella to come up here and co-host tonight, too. I want the actual women to be up in here and co-host because, you know, this topic is definitely about them. And who would know more about being an actual woman than actual women? And our women tonight, our co-hosts, have actually given birth. They've had their cycles. They know more about being a woman than people who claim to be women. That's not women. So, you know, I'm going to put it nicely. I don't mean to offend anybody or whatever, but it is what it is. Like I said, to be an actual woman, you actually have to be born a female. You have to be born an actual female. If you're not born a female, then you were born a male. It's only two things, or it's three things. You were born, what's the other? Hermaphrodite. And even a hermaphrodite has to decide. They have to decide what that child is going to be. They're going to take one of the genitals and they're going to stitch it up or cut it or do whatever they got to. But at birth, they're going to decide on that as well too. So there are two types of people on this earth, male and female. Just like if you're a man, to become a man, first you have to be born a male. If you're not a male, then you can never be a man. In my humblest opinion. So that's what we got tonight, man. And like I say, we trying to go ahead and just rewrite the whole entire damn book here. Shout out to Brooke and Dusty over there on YouTube, man. Y'all guys, make sure everybody coming to the YouTube space, make sure y'all go ahead and like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure anybody that sees this video, y'all go ahead and y'all subscribe to the actual news to the channel. Make sure you share this on all your social media platforms as well too. Shout out to all my people coming up in the space tonight. We definitely gonna be sisters. We're gonna definitely be after y'all to come up here and speak tonight. And like I said, I also sent out to Trans. I actually sent out something to Trans too because I want Trans to come in here. I know Trans is always usual in here, so I want to hear what Trans has to say about this as well too. And we're gonna be respectful because I know there's gonna be a difference of opinions tonight and everything like that as well too. So we will be respectful to people.
All right, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna pull up the something on Instagram regarding Jess Hilarious. All right, and we'll come back to some more audio in regards to Jess Hilarious as well. Just real quick, I'm gonna pull this up and then pull in some more details. So person on your left, I think is a man going by the name of T.S. Madison. T.S. being transsexual. All right. So apparently T.S. Madison claps back at user claiming she was, as you'll see there. I'll let y'all read that. All right. Regarding Jess Hilarious claps back at the non-binary model. All right. So there's been a lot of things going on. A lot going on. So let me pull this up real quick. See if we can find it. All right. There's been a lot going on the last couple of days. Here we go. Let's see if we can find it. If they didn't take it off, you know how they do. Sometimes they pull the stuff they put out. Let's see if we can find it here. Let's see what they talking about. There's been a lot going on, man. This Thursday, be looking out. We're talking about something very interesting. We're going to go over a particular article. I'm just going to say, I'll give you a hint. They're not in the disinformation dozen, but the question will be, should they have been in the disinformation dozen? I'm going to put it just like that. And then I'm going to leave it at that. All right. All right. Oh, this is it right here. Here we go. Let's see what we see. All right. In regards to Jess Hilarious, there was apparently some type of beef where, I don't know if there was this T.S. Madison person. There's a thing going on where you have the trans women, which are men transitioning into women. And there's been a big beef because they're saying there are more women than actual biological women. And they've been going into like these Twitter spaces and, hijacking the Twitter lives. And when it comes to those type of subject matters and topics, and they discussing, and they're actually beefing with actual biological women. And so a lot of these real women are clapping back on them. And so you had this situation here. All right. Comments continue, defending themselves. Jess also shared another post. As y'all see what this says here. All right, we're going to kind of go through them. Let's see here. Jess Hilarious and transgender TV personality and LGBTQIA activist T.S. Madison have a heated debate. T.S. this person here named Mermaid Mystical Massage says that T.S. Madison still has plenty porn floating throughout the internet. It was known as you can see that right there. Don't worry about our periods. I think that was also the issue too. They were talking about a woman's period. You have these trans men talking about their periods and saying something in regards to that. Apparently the real women got offended, so they was clapping back on them. All right. It's so funny how women act as if they have no ally when trans women in the LGBTQ community stands firm hand in hand with them. All right, but as soon as they get offended, the cisgender women, and that was another issue too, that was a big argument last night. The real biological women were getting tired of being called cis, and there's a thing that if the trans women want to be called a certain thing, and and if you're talking about black women here, and the black women didn't want to be referred to as cisgender. There seems to be a certain disrespect level between that. The trans women want to be called one thing, or want to be referred to a certain pronoun, and the real biological black women said, well, we don't want to be referred to as cis. So there was a big beef over that as well. There's going on Twitter last night as well. And I've been hearing that from a lot of biological black women saying, they don't want to be referred to that, but they're giving them names like cis and birther and stuff like that, right? And so there's been, like I said, a big ongoing beef battle between these men who want to be women actually going against actual women, right? And then there was also talk about how they're not the ones who are trans. They're all part of that LGBTQ, etc. Family tree, if you will. And we're talking about the black ones, and they're not understanding or not getting it that the white ones don't care about them. So they're taking the stance of they're trans or LGBT before their blackness. And so they're starting to do their little separation. But the biological black women are also trying to tell them, hey, look, but your white counterparts don't give a damn about you. And so they're being tricked and confused, but they still want to continue that side. And another issue was also being brought up is that for some reason, and if I could find the audio, I'll play the audio that I was just playing a little while ago. I think it was about 2 or 3 hours long, so I'm just going to be cutting in piece by piece. It seems to be a thing where they constantly keep bringing up, trying to combine or trying to say their struggle is like the slavery struggle. For some reason, they keep trying to engraft themselves into that and bringing up black men, and that really made the real black women, the biological women, really pissed off about that, because it seemed like every time they bring up an issue or something about their plight, they always got to try to mesh it in with slavery or civil rights. And definitely it was mentioned in slavery, and there is no comparison to what happened to the enslaved people in America compared to what's going on with them or has gone on with them. So they keep trying to crowbar their way into that situation as well. So it was a real heated situation last night. Let's see here what they got. When I was in middle school, they was all on me. You could in their eyes. Just had that young stud energy early. Okay. Heated debate. They had a heated debate over trans TikToker, which I guess is T.S. Madison, claiming biological women don't own periods nor womanhood. And I think that was one of the issues that was going on with that. Let me see. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're doing. I've been hearing it a lot over Twitter the past year and a half, 2 years. They'll get on these spaces and outside of that, even outside of Twitter, and they keep seeming like they want to crowbar and put their struggle with the slavery, trying to say it's a matching thing. Like I said, it nowhere compares to that. Nowhere compares to that. I'm gonna pull up, like I said, I'm gonna pull this audio back up again here in a minute, man. Yeah, that's crazy. So it was a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff. real quick, let me replay the video of the Carlee Russell confession for those who might be coming in on the live real quick. And then we'll get back to this Jess Hilarious. We kind of flip-flop between the two. All right. We'll flip-flop between the two. Let's see here. I just stopped the screen. What's going on? All right. So here's a confession in regards to Carlee Russell. We're going to play that real quick. A nice minute. The longer one, like I said, I was listening to the live conference, and they went a little bit more in depth as far as the different news outlets were asking questions about the Carlee Red thing. The things that were brought up again was possibly, or the bringing up that this guy here, I think it's him that you see on the screen, was mentioning that it'll be up to the DAs if they want to pursue any charges. And they were also asking if she had any mental illness issues. Somebody asked them about how much money it cost to get all this stuff together to try to investigate. And like I said, it looks like, I can't say it looks like right now, but I'm wondering if it'll be a thing of trying to make an example. And then what'll happen, if something goes down with a black woman for real, they're just going to look at it and ignore it, won't go out their way to do any searching or investigating. I'm thinking it's something bigger. Even from the start, I'm thinking something big. I'm wondering if she was put up to it for a bigger purpose. Like I said, it seemed like there's been a lot of distractions going on, and which is what you guys need to check out on my news channel probably tomorrow. I'll probably talk about it. There's always a lot of distractions going on to get you focused on one thing, whereas in the background, they're pulling that nonsense that's going down in Florida. Also, they're pulling something called HR 4321. We're going to get into that on What's the 411 News tomorrow. So every time they put out the distractions so they can slip something in behind your back. And by the time you figure out what's going on, they already turned something into law. So I'm noticing that play's been going on for a little bit. I'm believing they putting certain distractions out so they can slip some other things under you behind your back. All right. So yeah, let's hear this real quick.
Anthony asked that I read the statement in its entirety, which I will do now. My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone during the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies as well, as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee, again, ask for your forgiveness and prayers.
All right, so there that goes. So there you have it with that. And we're going to pull up this audio again. All right. Where we at here? Listen in a little bit more on what was going on with the Jess Hilarious and the T.S. Madison, transsexual Madison. Over their periods out of all things. You have these men turning into women talking about real women can't own their own periods and womanhood. Oh, man. Wild stuff, yo. But let's take a listen.
People are entitled to have their opinions, but I'm gonna tell everybody here, we're also entitled to disagree. You can disagree with me, and I can disagree with you as well too. We'll be respectful as always. So, Alice, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I wanted to give a little bit of background context of what we're about to talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
How this all came about.
Get it, and Alice will get the.
And then we go to the speakers. Yeah. So, I think it dropped today or yesterday, but I was aware of it today that Jess Hilarious, she was responding to a TikTok influencer by the name of Blessing Rose. In the clip, Blessing said, when the transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. And then Jess Hilarious, she did a reaction to that YouTuber and said, who the F is going to stand up for us? Who the F stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who are born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusional stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? The only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. She goes on to say, she continues to speak to the trans TikTokers saying that stop talking out your effing ass, wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We're the only ones that effing bleed, honey. We're the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that. Subliminal responding to Jess was T.S. Madison. Then T.S. Madison jumps into it and says, there are so many real women that get mistaken for being transgender women, and that's where a lot of the anger comes from. I do hope they take a good look at how transphobia affects all women. Now, she goes on to say, and she gets mistaken for one a lot. So I just be disappointed in her tone sometimes. I'm sorry, people. Can we just kind of speak a little bit more better? Especially when you have journalists trying to transcribe what you're saying. So it became a back and forth. Tasha K stepped in it, and I love Tasha K's response. And just to sum it up, she did say that we, the women, we are the bleeders and the breeders, right? But she gave like a 7-minute.
I'll play that in a second. That was another name they call real biological women. Bleeders, birthers, cisgender. And these are terms that real biological women don't want to be referred to as, but the trans women keep showing that disrespect while the real women are respecting what they want to be called. It's crazy stuff.
Responds on her Instagram, and I co-sign Jess, and me personally, I co-sign Tasha K as well, and then now we can get the discussion started. So I just want to give some background context of how all this came about.
All right, so that's how it came about. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit more, and I'll probably skip through some other audio, and so you guys can get an idea of what's been going on with that. All right.
All right. Thank you, Dana, for actually going ahead and you dug it in, and you pretty much went word for word because I saw that video, so you didn't miss a whole lot that they actually said. Sir Major, I'm gonna get to you. I see Alice. She had her hands up first, so let me go ahead and get to Alice. Alice, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, sir. I'm an old nurse, and I just wanted to clarify something that you said. There is, outward, the hermaphrodites may have what appears to be similar, either a vagina or both. But when you run their chromosomes, they're either male or female. And even if they have like an outer penis, and they can have testicles or they can have ovaries. They don't have both of them. Because I took care. And the other chromosomes that you can have are like 3 X's. You know how like a girl's an XX and a boy's an XY. I've seen babies that are, like have like an X 3 X's, but they're still male or female. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you for the clarity with hermaphrodites.
Yeah,
thank you for straightening it out.
And the thing is like I was working back in the 80s and the 90s, and so like we actually had a hermaphrodite baby, and not me, but I took care of one, and they decided that it was a girl, and the I mean, it's like I just wondered even back then why they didn't do like an abdominal ultrasound, because he had testes, not ovaries, that just didn't descend, and then like had like it looked like a really large clitoris, and so they had decided before we got his DNA back that it was a he and it was a she. Wait. They had decided it was a she, and it was a male. So, God knows what he does. That's it. Thank you all for letting me chat.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Alice. Appreciate you. Sir Major, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, thanks for having this Real News Toter. I've been in quite a few spaces today defending my sister, Jess Hilarious. Whether she's right or wrong, that's beside the point. When it comes to non-FBA folks trying to weigh in and lecture and wag their fingers in the face of FBA women, let's get straight to the point. There is a notable influencer who is an attorney. She's Nigerian. She's been the face of a lot of social justice stuff online. She's been inserting herself in Black culture for quite some time. And I didn't ordinarily have a problem with her advocating for the benefit or at the benefit of Black folks and the community. Her name is, if you look at the Jumbotron, you'll see my long response to her. Her name is Ole Yemi. She's out of Atlanta, Georgia. She's been doing a lot of the online advocacy against Top Cop City, which is a city that the Atlanta police is trying to make a mock city of, where they hyper police Black folks. In her video response, I saw it because I follow her. She noticed that she attaches herself to the Black community by saying she's a movement lawyer. She's a movement lawyer, meaning that she's an attorney for all things social justice. Okay? So I've been monitoring her and I've been following her. But how I knew about Jess Hilarious' comments is due to her video response. And in her video response, she told Jess Hilarious that I love your comedy, but you need to shut up and stay out of politics, is what she said in the video. And that's very similar to what a white reporter told Black athletes: to shut up and dribble. We love when you're dribbling that ball. Just shut up and dribble. Stay out of politics. And so I offer my commentary to this Nigerian woman. And if you want to read it, you can go through my remarks. And I told her, I said, ma'am, you're Nigerian. You and your mammy fled your country. Don't come to America trying to tell Foundation of Black American Women like Jess Hilarious to shut up about her womanhood, her wombhood, right? About her culture, her politics, and her community. You and your family chose to come to America for whatever reason. It was Jess Hilarious' ancestors who built this country. It was her Black hard work. It was her Black resilience, her Black blood, her Black sweat, her Black tears, her Black equity that built this country, that afforded you the right to come here. It was her group of people that fought for you to have a voice in this country. Now, whether you agree or disagree with FBA's positions, at all times, you need to do it in a respectable manner and respect our community. You telling Jess to not get involved with politics is the same thing as telling Black athletes to shut up and dribble. You are essentially telling it says Jazz, but just to shut up and just tell jokes. Your anti-blackness will not be tolerated in our community. Perhaps you should get involved with the politics of your nation. And maybe you should get on a Spirit flight and go back to Sokoto State, Nigeria, which is one of the poorest cities and states in Nigeria. Don't forget, it was just community who helped. It was Jess Hilarious community who helped launch a campaign to find those missing girls that Boko Haram kidnapped and raped in your Nigeria villages. Right. So my point is this: you're not FBA. Non-FBA people should not be commenting in a disrespectful manner about Black women and their womanhood and what is Black and what is a woman, right? And so I came from that perspective. Now, here's my general perspective. It is no doubt that just because you're born woman and you try to change your sexual identity, if you still get periods, you're still a woman. If you didn't change your sex, even if you were able to successfully change your gender, whether on paper or physically, you're still born female. Now, the conversations that I've entered into today, I don't agree with these terms that white liberals place on us. Oh, you're cishead, you're cisgendered. Like, don't put your labels on me. I am a man. I am a male. I am a boy. You are a woman. You are a female. You are.
That was another thing that was mentioned as well from these trans women, which are men transitioning into women. They were also calling men cisgender. All right. They was calling men cisgender. And they had some guy on here later on in the audio trying to explain all this stuff, and didn't go too well for him. They went in on him. All right, so there's this thing psychologically going on with these people. I mean, that's what they want to do. Fine, they can be whoever you want to be, but trying to change things up and change narratives. And if I also ain't mistaken, is there a city? I don't know if it's in Florida or one of these cities where, no, I think it's in regards to Jews. You can't say certain things. I think it's might be in Florida. You can be possibly be charged or arrested if you say something against Jews, I think. I'm gonna have to look that back up. I remember hearing about that. I had to look that up. And I remember something in regards to something being put in play in regards to the LGBTQ community in regards to not using certain words. I think that might have been Florida as well. Florida's got some crazy stuff going on. Like I said, we'll be covering. You guys check me out on What's the 411 News tomorrow. And I'll be covering a couple of things that I think go hand in hand. All right. And I've spoken on DeSantis probably a year or better or longer about his mindset when he was talking about trying to put something in play to where he wanted to make it legal for looters to be shot at random. And I explained, what sickness that is and what that could cause in that state if that was allowed. So he got something going on upstairs, or he's trying to put himself in a position. Maybe he doesn't have nothing wrong with him upstairs, but he's trying to put himself in position probably because of presidency. Got a lot of sickos running for president. Anyway, let me fast forward this real quick and listen in some more.
Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, News Toter, and to the co-host. I want to first start off and say that I respect all people, no matter what the gender, no matter what the title. I respect all human beings. We had a space last night that started on this particular topic, the LGBTQ mafia, and we were cooking in that space. Rella brought up the Harvard course. It's actually a course where they are going to teach people how to identify LGBTQIA plus children as newborns. I put it in the chat. So this is an actual course. There's another thing happening at Duke University where in which they're actually training OBGYNs to transition toddlers 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. These are 3 universities in North Carolina: Duke, UNC, and ECU. This is a cultural war, and we are losing. In the space last night, I said it's probably too late, and I came across the Heal.com story where they said in 2015, 11% of students identified as LGBTQ. As of 2021, it's up to 26%. So this generational gap is actually already in place, and it's already been indoctrinated inside the school system, to Dana's point. And it's happening at all levels of childhood education, even in elementary school. So it is very likely that in 10 or 15 years, half of the people coming out of these indoctrination camps may identify as LGBTQIA+. Now, what does that do to the population and reproduction? It has to at some point become a thing where the natural balance of humanity is so far off that you're no longer producing children because of this same sex living. I'll call it that just to kind of keep the respectful terms, but this is not the path that humanity should be on in massive numbers. It always was a small percentage, and I never had a problem. I had friends that were, even as a child, that were gay. I had several gay friends. I had a girlfriend that grew up to be a full-blown lesbian. Never had a problem, never had an issue. The problem today is that these people are being weaponized politically against our children and politically against our population, because they are putting themselves in places to cause harm to us. And I'll give a clear example. There was a Black woman who created a tech company, something to do with girl coding or something of that nature. Well, they brought in a LGBTQ person. They brought in an LGBTQ personality to come into the company, and then because she misgendered the people, they were able to take her company away from her. This is weaponization of these genders. There's also a new term out called Trantifa, which is the combination of trans and Antifa, which is like the trans male. I think she started off as a woman and she became a male. She's taken these hormones, which in my opinion act like roid rage, because you have a woman who's never dealt with this level of testosterone, and she's angry, and now she has mental muscles of rage, and now she has an AR-15 in her hand, and all these rounds of weaponry and artillery. So I think that this is just going to continue to grow, unfortunately. There have been multiple attacks from this particular population around the country recently. It seems to be a new phenomenon. But if you're pumping yourself with these chemicals and these hormones that your body wasn't naturally made to handle, it to me is just common sense that eventually this rage would come out. And I'll end on that.
All right, thank you, Black. Let me go ahead and get to Mel. Mel, how you doing? It's been a little while since we heard from you. Hope you're hanging in there okay.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there fine. Thanks for letting me.
And by the way, this is courtesy of News Toter. You guys can check him out on YouTube and Twitter. If y'all want to subscribe to his channel, you can do that as well, man. So this is courtesy of News Toter. His live space last night. So let's continue.
Yeah,
shout out to everybody in the room. Alistar. So that was interesting what you said. And two things. I just wonder what the society was doing back in the day when Noah was alive, and the Lord flooded the earth because the people had become so wicked and evil. What were they doing? Because this seemed like to me like the way our world is now. It's like, should we be looking for another flood? That's just, But, Alstar, you use the term inclusive, and I would beg to differ with that term and switch that out to intrusive, because there's a thing about including people where the main group wants to include. You understand what I mean? But the way this situation is coming about, it's I don't know how to, with all the alphabet mafia, I'll just use Black's term. The alphabet mafia is coming through saying, look, we about to bogart and intrude on your own natural being. We're not trying to change what science has designated and what science has found and what has been the protocol for since whenever. But now we have this new generation, and it's not inclusive; it's intrusive. What I don't understand is why y'all can't call it something different. Why do you have to come in, intrude, and then and we're wrong if we're saying, hey, that's not how it goes. Why can't y'all make up your own term? And if you believe that whatever y'all want to call it is the equivalent of ministrating, then why can't you, why that? Why intrude? And do y'all even know the difference between inclusive and intrusive? Because this is just like, it's like ridiculous from that perspective.
All right, thank you, Mel. Hey guys, up in the Jumbotron tomorrow night we have that. Did I put that Twitter space in there for tomorrow night? Tomorrow night we have our Twitter space. Where we're gonna be talking once again about it's gonna be pretty much the second part of the space we had Thursday about Black immigrants wanting their split of the reparations. That's up in the Jumbotron. I thought I put it up in there, but apparently I didn't. So I will go ahead and put that back up in there. But tomorrow night, make sure you catch us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be about Black immigrants and the claim that they have on reparations. It'll be a part two, basically, of the space from Thursday night. So make sure that you come in, you tune in, you check it out, participate. Also, guys, we got over 70 some odd people up in the Twitter space tonight. For those that can, at least make $1 contribution to newstoder.com, the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform today in America. It would be greatly appreciated. $sign newstoder, $sign newstoder. Also, make sure you visit newstoder.com daily. Newstoder.com is one of the largest sources of Black curation news in America, the largest source of Black news curation of news in Black America today. So definitely make sure you visit newstoder.com. Use it as an encyclopedia to keep you up to date on breaking news in Black America. Once again, $sign newstoder, $sign newstoder. For anybody that's able to contribute to not only tonight's broadcast, but to the platform, the largest curation Black-owned news media platform today in America. Let me go ahead and I see we have go ahead and unmute your mic. Let me get you up in here. I want to hear what you got to say.
What's up? How is everybody doing today?
Hey, what's up?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to come in and say a couple of things. One of them was the comment that Dana made about indoctrination and the separation between the generations. And there was a thing where she said that something about terminology and no, that's mine. Terminology and
I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward that. They went in on ooh-wee, by the way. And I think they went on him later on as well.
Remember his name?
Ben X. Brother Ben X or Louis Farrakhan?
No, the other guy that just won his case. He had just
RZA.
Yeah. So he did an interview with Storm Monroe, and he was talking about this with Storm Monroe, and Storm Monroe came out and said, and this goes to Dennis' point earlier. This was the age of the conversation and terminology, I guess, to where we was trying to go was that their conversation was not about ignoring sex and gender, and who was called what, and they used the term transvestites, and they had a different way of presenting themselves. You didn't see a whole lot of transgender people being caught with little kids. That was mostly, either the oh my gosh, the religious, I'm talking about the priestess, the pastors mostly getting caught with children, or the kiddie porn and all that other stuff. But now what we're seeing is it's an open door for the white LGBT community to. They're not even doing flying freak flags. They're doing the most extreme things with children. They're doing the most extreme things, even in front of kids. Like when they had their parade. Why are men naked and women naked walking around and children are around?
Well, the question is why they had their kids there, because gay parade, the gay parade is not for kids.
Yep, same too. But I'm saying, my point is, there are adults who are, again, in this community who are making the decision that all bets are off when it comes to protecting kids, but we'll turn around and tell heterosexual adults that we're abusing our children for telling our children to identify their gender and their sex, and it's okay to be a boy and a girl, to wear blue, to wear pink, and these colors are associated with X, Y, and Z, but yet you are okay in this community. No one's uprising, but about the things that are inappropriate. But Jess Hilarious coming out saying, who's going to stand up for women? And no, we're not going to have this. And we ignore the fact that trans men also are quiet even about this entire topic. They don't come out and say, yeah, I have a period and it's because I transitioned, but I'm still getting my cycle. You don't hear them saying these things. They keep this stuff under wraps, and they hope that biological women like this attorney woman, if she's an attorney, or the woman that spoke out against Jess Hilarious, opens up her mouth and turns her phone on and starts calling her ignorant. Why is she ignorant? Because what she's saying isn't wrong, but she's ignorant because you think that she's not holding a space open for someone. What? I don't understand that.
Bella, if you think about it, you also have to think about all of these priests and these nuns. These nuns have been being raped. Over 1,000 nuns were raped and had children. You know what I mean? So we're expecting for these people to be perfect, and they've proven that they are not. 1,000 priests were sent to jail because of the rape and torture that they were doing to the children and the nuns. These are not perfect people. There is no such thing. For me, I just don't think that there's no such thing as a perfect person.
Okay, let me, because we kind of getting going a little bit off topic. Now we're talking about pedophilia and stuff, so I want to kind of get a gear back a little bit, y'all, back on the actual topic at hand. I know sometimes in the spaces things are going to go veer off a little bit. I want to go ahead and get to the hands up as well, too. We got Black Majority State. I know he's been waiting for a minute. We're going to get you, Ray. We'll get you, Fred. We're going to get you, Uwe, as well, too. So I'm going to go ahead and move it around to the actual hands with the hands up in the air. Reba, if you want to speak, go ahead and put your hand back up as well. We'll get you. We're just trying to get to the hands and let everybody at once. I would like I say, Timothy and Uwe. Listen here. I don't have time to paint the White House, bro. You're gonna have to come here and you're gonna have to give your point or whatever. All this back and forth. Like I said, I already knew it was nonsense, so I wasn't even gonna bring you back up here because I didn't feel like hearing all of this going around. Get to the point.
Every time I state my point, someone cuts me off.
That's true, and everybody go ahead and let him finish, because I know everybody has a disagreement. Let him finish, but I don't want it to take. This ain't the sands of time right here either, bro. You got to speed it up.
The reason that people usually almost always bring those comparisons back to Black people is so that you can understand that it's a marginalized group marginalizing another group. There are trans Black people. That means that they're Black and they're trans, and they fit into the Black community and are discriminated against by people in the Black community. Why is no one paying attention to that? I think I did say that, right, New Soda? Didn't I say that earlier?
This guy on Twitter who goes by the name Uwe, who just spoke, he's one of those that's trying to crowbar any of the Black experience, kind of specifically in regards to slavery. He's trying to crowbar that in as if that's on the same plane as the plight of LGBTQ. So that's what he's doing, trying to crowbar that in. All right.
Here, I said I recognized that earlier, but what I did also recognize is that trans people want to also ignore the fact that they have a gender that they were biologically born with and a gender that they are choosing to identify socially as, and they want to play games in society. I think I said that. I said that.
Society is using the worst
Yes,
portion
playing
of an
games.
example
Oh, you know
of a
what?
set of
Let me give
for
you
the
an
best part
example of
your
playing games. If a trans person decides to meet someone and call a man who's heterosexual gay, or being heterosexual, and videotape them because they are assuming this person is actually hiding in a closet when in actuality the trans person was not being honest, that's called playing games. See, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Whether to figure out whether
It's important for the person who has the gender assignment, who is identifying themselves as trans, to be honest with the people they're interacting with.
Rella, please let this dude say what he's got. Uwe, I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead, and then we got to move to the next speaker. Go ahead, man.
It's important for you to figure out whether or not someone's trans before you have sex with them, because that's part of being responsible before you have sex. Who doesn't ask someone questions or figure out things about them before just jumping into having sex with someone? That doesn't make sense. And it's dangerous to assume that trans people are cisgender just by looking at them, because transphobia can incite violence against trans people because they exist in spaces with other cisgender people. So you're not paying attention.
Okay, I don't know what happened.
Who's next? He got removed because he still was being disrespectful. I said we're not cisgendered in here, and you're not going to keep being disrespectful. If you can't use the terms as they are up in this space, because you're not in a space where people are respecting the fact that they like the term cis. Okay, it's man or woman.
Hold on real quick.
I want to hear what he had to say, brother. Because he was trying to tell me he was consistent. That's what
I don't want to hear no more.
Real quick. Let me go ahead, because we actually do have an actual trans person up in here. So let me get the trans is beautiful up in here. Trans is beautiful. And Timothy, I also want to hear what you got to say as well too, since quote unquote we're lying in the space and everything is involved as well too. Go ahead. The trans is beautiful.
Hey, family, we actually got a transformer in the space.
Go ahead, trans is beautiful. Professor, definitely stay on the mic while Trans is speaking as well too. We want to go ahead and let Trans go ahead and say what Trans has got to say, and we can go ahead if anybody wants to rebuttal, if there's time, because like I said, I want to get to the hands as well too. Trans is beautiful. Are you there?
Okay. Hello. Okay. Hello. Okay. Hi. I just want to say thank you for letting me talk in the space, and then yes, and as far as like the whole gatekeeping period, I should in the title. I find it very odd that anybody would even accuse like a regular woman of like gatekeeping period. This is something that is natural to a woman who was born a woman, like female. And this is my opinion on that matter. And as far as the transition, I do think that people also need to just learn to just be more more accepting and more embracing of people who are different, like trans people. And I want to say that. And then thank you for letting me talk. And then you, Professor, you're often very disrespectful, like against me and just trans people in general. So I'm just like, you are just someone who's just sometimes I even wonder if you secretly like transgender people or something, but it's kind of weird. But yeah, and also I think somebody was talking about people being honest about being transgender. At least in Atlanta, I don't know what happens in every single city, but Atlanta, there's plenty of men who actually chase us, but they get angry if people find out that they like transgender and all that stuff, transgender people, and yeah, it just creates issues and spreads diseases and contributes to gender-based violence and even regular women getting murdered. So I think that happened before. So yeah, men should just stop it with our toxic masculinity and yeah, I just want to say that and yeah, thank you.
All right.
Hey, did you make up your mind what you want to be? You want to have a penis or you want to have a vagina? Which one are you?
I have a vagina. Okay. Do you want
Transformer more than Mr. Eyes.
Oh, like why were you asking about my genitalia? Were you trying to do something? Like, were you interested? Like,
No, we're not going that route there. Let me go ahead. Let me get to Timothy. Timothy, you was up in the comment section. You was stating a bunch of different things as well about the people we were lying in the space and terms evolve and this and that. So you was putting it in. So I want to hear what you got to say now.
Okay. Yeah. So pretty much I've heard just a couple of things I want to acknowledge. One of them being that I think somebody was saying that LGBTQ as a community was kind of accepting pedophiles or trying to co-opt the pedophile movement or saying that trying to conflate the two, and I think that's just bullshit at the end of the day because pedophiles.
Nobody said that in here.
Wait a minute. That pedophiles are hiding under the umbrella of P or whatever. It was a bunch of stuff that was said about pedophiles, and I'm trying to just clarify that.
Well, I never said that. So
no one said that. No one. We said that the P, pansexual, is an identified term in that they have identified that there are pedophilia people who are under the guise of pansexual, and they think they call the term MAP. MAP was the other term that was also identified in here.
That's a lie.
Oh, it is? How is it a lie? So tell us. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let him go ahead, Relly. Go ahead, Timothy.
Because what in this one point I'm trying to make is that it's not pedophilia. I mean, yeah, pedophilia doesn't have any sexuality. Like it's just literally. It's literally just that. So why even try to tie that into the LGBT community, or were you saying that the P is being represented by pansexuals?
Hold on, real quick, everybody. He is talking. Let him finish talking. Stay on your microphone. Everybody's coming off that microphone. They want to ask him a question. Let him finish saying what he has to say. Okay? Go ahead, Timothy.
Well, that was the end of that point. And then the next point I was trying to make is that there's people that believe that trans people are trying to, that they think they're better, they're replacing men and women, and that's just simply not the case. Simply because it's only like a 0.0001% of the population that's actually trans. So it doesn't make any sense that they would have any political or financial power to even say that they are better than men and women, or that they are trying to replace men and women. So that is another lie. And the third lie that I was trying to bring up is that there are people that you just said that trans people are lying about their identities, that they need to just be honest about it, and they need to be whatever. And I agree with that statement, but at the same time, I'm looking at it through a lens of, if you don't know what a trans person looks like in 2023, you're not in community with trans people, so you really shouldn't even be talking about the conversation. Or you need to go and just look at trans people because they just kind of exist. You can see them. I'm not saying that they are not lying. They're not people that are here not lying, but a majority of trans people you can see and you can recognize. And if you can't do that in 2023, then I don't really know how to help you with that.
I want to rebuttal with something he said real quick.
Please.
Wait, no.
Hold on.
Before we get to the other speakers, I would like to rebuttal to something that he said, because you said that transgender people, they are less than 1% of the population, but because they are a part of the LGBTQ community, and you also have the LGBTQ cult that is controlled by the gatekeepers, they do have political power. They do have more political power than Black Americans. Because of the fact, don't interrupt me, sir, because I did not interrupt you. We are not playing that game. Because of the fact that the reason why this whole conversation started, Jess Hilarious didn't just decide to get on her social media and go on a rant. It was a transgender person that identified as being a transgender woman on TikTok with a following saying that women are not the gatekeepers of periods. Well, who the fuck said we were? We are minding our business. So that transgender person feel as though they have the right, because they do have a backing politically and economically, to get up on a platform and disrespect heterosexual women. And then when we push back, then all hell breaks out, and now we're called bigots or transphobia, all this other bullshit. So you need to correct yourself and understand how this conversation even started. It didn't start by us. We are minding our business. It is started by LGBTQ people, such as transgender, coming after us, saying that we're the gatekeepers of something. So there's putting content out there going against us. And it's like, no, let me correct you. We are the gatekeepers because we're the only ones that do get periods. Period.
And why is it that it's always, but you coming up here defending points of conjecture that make, that don't make, hold on, Revy. You're coming up here defending points of conjecture instead of actually coming in the room and being a part of the conversation. All you had to do was come in here and ask us what was said. And two, I posted a lot of the stuff that was said down in the Jumbotron for you to have a conversation. Most people like yourself and other hetero women who are defending the trans community, like the woman who told Jess Hilarious she needs to shut up and stay out of politics. How you going to tell somebody who's an American to shut up and stay out of politics? And at the end of the day, if a woman biologically stands up and speaks out against someone saying that we are not the gatekeepers of womanhood, it is our right to do so. We actually have been born and bred for this. We actually have an experience about growing up as a young girl into womanhood. Mothers who've raised us, who actually show grandmothers, aunties, who we look up to go through what womanhood means. Who in the hell is going to stand in that gap and try to tell us we are not the gatekeepers? We are the gatekeepers, the clampers. God designed us to stand in the box, to tell you to shut the hell up, to tell you to sit down and be quiet because you are out of order. That is what we are.
But I didn't say any of those two things that both y'all just said. I didn't.
Yeah, yes, you did.
No,
sir, but this is the listen. I don't have to use tomato juice and stick it up my vagina and bleed. I don't have a need to do that. It's acidic. My point to you is a transgender woman made a whole entire video, a black transgender woman who actually, who actually should have been checked by their own community to say, excuse me, that is not what we are here for. And that is not correct. It shouldn't even been us to say anything. It should have been the own community to do it. And that's what I was talking about being honest. People are not being honest when we are talking about sex and gender and what the two are. You're only choosing man or female. If you decide you want to play in the box to be a female or a woman one day and put on a dress and wig like people are mentioning, that's your business. I don't get on here and talk about trans is beautiful and disrespect trans is beautiful. But if trans is beautiful, if we're having a conversation about what impacts women biologically, trans is beautiful is going to have to sit on the sideline and listen. Because we have a different experience. Now, if we are having a conversation about trans women, and trans is beautiful is the one talking about what trans women experience is, then we will sit and listen and hear them. No one in here is talking about harm against trans people, none of that. What we're saying is be honest about what this is. That's the problem we're having. You're not going to get on Beyonce's internet as heterosexual people and try to placate individual erasure.
Well, Timothy.
And that's what I'm trying to finish. If I can finish.
Okay, real quick. Go ahead and get your point in because I'm moving to the next two speakers because we're gonna be closing this space out. So go ahead. I'm gonna give you a minute to go ahead and say what you got to. Host, co-host, go ahead, let him say what he's got to, and then we're moving on to Fred and we're moving on to Rerod.
Yeah, just two more things. And the last couple things that both y'all said, I absolutely agree with. Okay, I will never say that a trans woman can do the same things that a regular woman can, and they understand that as well. So I think whenever there is a delusional person that says I'm better than regular women, I'm better than regular men, we should not give them a platform to say those things, and we should just move on, just put them to the side and move on because they are what? Say with me, delusional. Thank you. My second point about evolved language is that, and I'm just going to talk about Black people, so stick with me just for a second. In the beginning, we were not called Black people. We were called N-words with hard R's. I don't like that word, so I'm not going to say it out loud. We were called N-words with hard R's. And then what did that move to eventually? Negroes. And then what did that move to eventually? Black people, African American, whatever you want to identify with. My point about evolved language is that when it comes to gender, is that way before back then they were called whatever they were, or actually they probably weren't even identified as trans. Like there was no language for us to use to call them trans. But then eventually it was what, transsexual or a bit transvestite. And now because we understand what that means for like society and how that relates to us, and we understand that we use the word gender now, that we say that gender and sex are two different things. And so when it comes to transgender or cisgender, specifically about trans and cis, those words are descriptors. They're not nouns. They're not pronouns. They're not terms like man and woman. It's like an adjective. You know what an adjective is? It just
No, you're making shit up right now because and another
I'm
thing,
literally not.
I really do think that if anyone coming up here from that community or sympathize or whatever with or defending that community, stop using race. You cannot compare race to your sexuality or the gender you choose. You know why you can't? Because when they did call us the N-word, when they did change us to Negro, you know what that was about? It wasn't about our role that we choose to live our life or our sex. That was about classism. Stop using that because that's a weak talking point. That's a weak talking point to debate anybody with, and you sound ignorant doing so. You're making shit up saying that it's not a pronoun, transgender. All that shit is pronouns because your community made it up. You don't even know. And I'm pretty sure you are a millennial or a Gen Xer.
All right. So on that, we're going to move forward. We're going to go to Fred, then we're going to go to Rerod. Thank you, Timothy.
The LGBT community did not create pronouns. That's not true.
Fred,
Yes, you did.
Okay, we moving on to the next speaker, Fred, respectfully.
Are you serious? Did you not graduate first grade?
No, are you serious? Are you dumb?
Now you being now that was uncalled for.
Exactly.
Did she graduate first grade? Really?
No. Because again, he's a Gen Zer. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
First of all,
the whole pronoun campaign is yes, y'all created all that bullshit with all these letters and alphabets, dummy. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the English language. We're talking about you choosing certain words from the English language and want to place it to tell everybody to choose from it. Dumbass.
You're a dummy, bitch. Goodbye.
No, bitch, you're fucking stupid, sissy. Bitch, you don't want to.
He just got blocked and removed from the space.
It doesn't even matter because the fact that's why I said with these Gen Zs and fucking young millennials, they fucking stupid. They don't read or do research. They just believe what a teacher, what somebody tells them to believe. They don't know how to think for themselves.
Yeah, he just got blocked and removed from the space. So, Fred, go ahead and unmute your mic. And then, like you said, every time this thing, it constantly keeps putting race and mixing race up in this. Race has nothing to do with this whatsoever. Not one person here had any choice in being black. Straight up. Nobody in here had any choice. You was born black. You do have a choice in this other matter in terms of your what gender, what in terms of you wanting to be trans or whatever. You know, that's your right to do that, but that's not the same as being black. Fred, go ahead and unmute your mic. All right, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, this right here is the very reason why I said what Native spoke of earlier. Nobody gets to reclassify until Black Americans get fully compensated, full reparations. Because see, these ain't nothing. All this is a bunch of sick-ass individuals that are practicing a sophisticated form of self-mutilation. That's really all the hell it is. And all they're trying to do is come up with some type of subcategory. They keep fishing for some equivalently oppressed minority group to compare or to try to undermine Black Americans that are owed reparations in the U.S. And secondly, no Black person in America, especially if you're descended from slavery in the U.S., don't worry about no term that cannot apply to you, which is homophobic, transphobic, or none of that shit. It's impossible in theory and practice for any of us to be any of that. There's no type of political power. We've never denied them the right to vote, go to restrooms or nothing. So these are, like I say, these are a bunch of sick-ass individuals. Just like you said, how a lot of them keep on trying to equate racism with that. That shows you whenever they do that, all they're going to do is guarantee them to be an enemy of Black Americans from here on the hell out. Now I'm mute. All right, thank you, Fred. Rerod, you had your hand up. Did you want to go ahead and say something?
Yes, I did, Ms. Toder. Thank you for allowing me to speak one more time. I mean, I'm glad that Fred said something about it, but yeah, you know, all of this ultimately goes back to white supremacy. I'm sorry, I have to do it. I have to do it. Okay, they have been trying to eliminate the Black family structure for so long, and I just really feel like some people drank the Kool-Aid and some people didn't. You know what I mean? And I'm not mad at whoever decides to live their life and who decides not to live their life. Listen, do what you do. But don't sit here and come at me like you're not a part of this matrix, like you're not a part of what's holding many, many Black Americans back. All of this stupid ass shit, this transgender, this biracial, this swirler, all of this stuff is keeping us divided. Now you got Black people whose ancestors were strung up, lynched, and beat to death that are trying to say that struggle, the struggle that they're going through to today, simply because people are not being nice to them, because that's what I hear mostly. They just want everyone to be nice to them. I am so sorry. That's just not how the world works. And as far as me like trying to get this whole like change all these names in my mind, I don't really run into that many transgender people on a day-to-day basis. You know, so I'm not gonna like, you know, get it in my mind. Like if I see a transgender person, what are the odds that I even speak to them to the point where I need to change my whole vocabulary and everything that I know to be true? Mispronoun. I'm not gonna talk to you. There's not gonna be no reason for me to mispronoun you, because more than likely I probably won't talk to you. And it's not no hate or disrespect. It's just human life. I don't talk to everybody that I see. Everybody that sees me doesn't talk to me. So it just seems very disingenuous that they are completely just making it seem like this thing that they're going through right now is worse than what their ancestors went through, and how they are trying to not identify with being Black. Instead, I want to be Black and I want to be trans. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, the only triple threat in America is being a Black woman without a job. Okay? That's the triple threat that nobody can get through. All right? That's the worst thing to be in America. All right? Period. Right now, then, yesterday, or a Black man in America without a job. Those are the worst things you can be. Then, now, and probably forever, unless we can get our reparations. And I'll land there. Thank you so much for letting me speak.
Yeah, with that being said, trans is beautiful. Need to get out of this space. He ain't even Black American anyway.
All right.
Professor, put you in a corner.
Like,
VJG.
We were just closing it out, Professor. That's pretty much it. Like, so it's Black Native, because I told everybody Black Native, I give you a minute, because then we getting ready to close this space out. Nobody else raise your hand, because we getting ready to get up out this space. We've been going 3 hours. And that's long enough for me. Black Native, I give you a minute, and then we closing out.
You got DJ too, News Toter. That's up here. Do you see her?
Who is who?
BJD. Do you see her?
I just wanted to say something to.
Wait, hold on. No,
hold on, real quick. 'Cause I saw Black Native with her hand up. That's why I was gonna let Black Native get it in for a minute.
I'm not really going to be long. I just wanted to give applause to Dana and give applause to Rella for holding it down. And, you know, like you said, stop using Black people and correlating it with the fight of the LGBTQ community, especially if you are Black and part of that community. Your Blackness is what's really holding you back, because the white LGBT community, they run damn near everything. So we're not going to play these games. And I just want to give a shout out to my two sisters who held it down for Black women. And I'm going to land my plane.
Okay. Thank you, Black Native. VJD, real quick, I'll give you a minute as well, too. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to piggyback off Black Native to the ladies. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming hard. That's what we need. Oh, and to the one that said he must be a Gen Xer, you hurt my feelings. I'm 75, man. I'm a Gen Xer. We don't think like that. So that kind of hurt my feelings. But to Timothy, what I want to say to anybody who is on here who is part of the LGBTQ, and I said this to a couple of people who are actually a part of the community, as far as pedophilia, y'all need to watch that, because again, I've been keeping up with a lot of stuff. They are trying to attach their issues to your issues. They do want to make pedophilia, they want to normalize it. So for Timothy to act like that's not a reality, that is a reality. They had a couple of people try to go before the Supreme Court to get that shit thrown out of the psychiatric community. They wanted it to be a mental disorder instead of being sex offenders. So yeah, they are trying to jump on the bandwagon with transgender and everything else. So that's a reality. As far as all this other stuff,
real quick, DJD, real quick, gotta wrap it up.
Ladies, thank you very much. I appreciate you fighting for me. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, DJ. I see you came up here real quick towards the end of the space, so I'll let you get something in real quick, and then we can ready to close it up.
T.A. Giselle, you ain't gonna be misgendering me. Don't be giving them no credit. I'm a real woman. Y'all ain't none of y'all women graduate from no HBCUs. This is a messed up space. I'm reporting all y'all.
That's good. All right. I'm gonna let Dana and I'm gonna let Dana and Rella go ahead real quick. Let y'all go ahead and thank you guys for going ahead and co-hosting the night as well too. So I definitely appreciate that to have the sisters up in the space as well as the co-host. So I'll let y'all go ahead and say something real quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and close this thing out for the night.
Gen Zs and young millennials, y'all need to educate yourselves and stop allowing these institutions to brainwash you, because the only thing y'all fight for is pronouns and to be called whatever you want to label yourself as. And that's not what that community was about, especially the Black LGBT community, because the real Black LGBT community, they were fighting for equality. And this is after the civil rights movement, because a lot of people who were far more better and talented than this young generation is, a lot of them died. A lot of them were rejected, couldn't get jobs, didn't have insurance, couldn't get life insurance. A lot of people fucking died so that you could just pop one pill or no pill at all, because now the chances of you getting HIV or AIDS is really non-existent. For you to have all the privileges that you have now, that was because of the real Black LGBT activists for your community. They were fighting for equality, and you don't know that. And the LGBTQ community, period, did piggyback off of the civil rights movement. Yes, they did. They would not have any equality if it wasn't for us Black Americans, just like the immigrants and everybody else. So I'm going to suggest all you Gen Zs and millennials go and do your research and go sit down with an elder Black LGBT person so that they can educate you. A lot of good people died so you could sashay your ass around here and talk ignorant shit on TikTok or be like Saucy Santana talking about some women are jealous of his ass. That's some bullshit. And I'm just here to tell you and put you in your place and educate you, whether you like it or not. So, I don't fight for pronouns. I don't give a shit about your fucking pronoun. You need to respect me and what I want to be referred to as, and I will do the same for you. And I support Jess Hilarious, and I hope she do not come out and fucking apologize. And if she is canceled, because people love to do that cancel culture shit, women and men should support and back her. And I'll end it there. Good space.
All right. Thank you, Dana. Let me go ahead and get to Rella.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Dana. I'm going to stand in the lane of people who are heterosexual, who support the LGBTQ community. I feel like you're somewhat part of the problem in the sense of you ignore even your own selves just so that a particular group of the community can run around and deny facts and psychological factors in science. I think it's a problem when we are having these conversations and other people who are heterosexual come into the space, or even people who are maybe gay or lesbian come into the space, and they are trying to argue the points that somehow people are transphobic because we want to have these discussions and we want to put all the cards on the table. It is disingenuous. It is causing more harm than good. And it is also a form of erasure. And it should not be tolerated, because if you can't be honest as an adult in this space, and you cannot talk about what is impacting our community as in the Black community, which no one is denying that there is an LGBTQAI element in our community. We're saying that we recognize that there are so many factors that go into that, and that you cannot sit around and think that we're going to put up with you calling yourself a marginalized group in a marginalized group. You're either a part of our group that is literally fighting for our reparative issues, or you are not. And I guarantee you, the white LGBTQAI has already made it a point to let you know they don't recognize you either. They're not putting up with you either. They don't care for you either, which is why Caitlyn Jenner could win the ESPY Awards and be claimed the first woman athlete to win an ESPY Awards, and no one is up in arms about that. No one, except for women, biological men and women knew that wasn't right. But yet you still had people fighting to protect that practice happening. And then that same trans person can come back to say, oh, well, you know what? I really still want to have enjoy the benefits of being a man. See, no. It is a problem. And we need to address it. We need to fix it. Also, you need to get your language together. I agree with Dana. You need to get your history together. If you're going to say that the term, the hard ER evolved into the term Negro, then you don't know your history. You have no idea of the history. Because the term Negro was a Latin term that came out prior to the term, the hard ER, being used here in the States by the 13 colonies. And I'm not going to go on a full history rant, but I'm going to say this. Learn your history. Stop trying to placate and cross the lanes up just so you can prove your point of conjecture for empathy. It's not going to work anymore. Google is free, and we're not dumb. And I need more professionals in the realm of science, in the realm of professional medical professionals to start speaking up, because this is getting out of hand. And it's not appropriate anymore. And it is putting women, biological women and men, in harm's way. And I know we focused a lot on trans women, but trans men also need to speak up. You have female reproductive organs, and you still get your cycle because you were once a woman, and that is a fact. You are putting women in biological women in harm's way, and it is not right, and people need to be held accountable for it. Thank you, News Toter, for this space, and we truly appreciate you and all the speakers. You guys were amazing. I make sure I hit follow to everybody, and this was awesome.
Thank you, Trans. We're gonna have to get with you next time because we gotta go ahead and shut this space down for tonight. So definitely come back tomorrow night and go ahead and we'll get you in here. But we're gonna go ahead and shut it down in this Sunday night space because it's almost damn near Monday. So shout out to everybody, the two co-hosts tonight, and the speakers, and everybody who came and shared in the space as well too. Thank you guys. We'll be back tomorrow night. Like I said, in the Jumbotron, we got the space for tomorrow night, guys. Go ahead and tweet that out. It's in the Jumbotron on the far left-hand side. We're talking about the Black immigrants demand equal reparations. This is going to kind of be like a carryover from the space we had Thursday night. So definitely go ahead and retweet it. I'm retweeting it now. So definitely go ahead. If anybody that's in the space, retweet that space out. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you for everybody participating, coming out, supporting the space as always. Everybody have a good night. Be safe. And we'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.
All right, that was courtesy of News Toter. Again, y'all can check him out on YouTube if you don't have a Twitter. He also has a Twitter page. So I think he only has YouTube and Twitter. So it'll be on tonight on Twitter Live Spaces. I might go in and check it out. I think he's on live now, as a matter of fact. So you guys can check him out on YouTube. That's News Toter. All right. And yeah, so we heard it from the streets. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Put in the comments. And I'm going to get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all. I'll be back Thursday. Like I said, the hint I'm going to give you in regards to that is the disinformation doesn't. Somebody else or a group of people should have been on the disinformation doesn't, besides who they put on there, all right? And you'll find out why. All right? Appreciate y'all. T. Roy, I'll give you a call here when I wrap up and pack up, man. All right? With that being said, always analyze everything. Have analytical thinking, and it starts with asking questions. All right? That's how critical thinking, or you can call it analytical thinking, that's what it all begins with. Questions. So analyze everything you hear, everything you read. And I'm out of here, man. All right? Peace. You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast.